Well, thank you, Josh. I vaguely know someone who resembles sort of some of what you just talked about. And congratulations. Congratulations to all of you, the class of 2024. Long days, long nights, but 3 short years, and here you are. You know, it's funny, and you'll learn this as you go forward, that there are memories or events or stories that you'll remember about law school. One of the stories I mean, when I talk about things you'll remember, I'm not talking about the cases, you know, Paulsgraf or Honoyer versus Neff. Okay, let's forget that one. But I'm talking about the things that happened around the law school or in the classroom. One of the things that I most remember about law school has stuck with me. It was one of my professors. It was 1L year. It was April. And I think he was just trying to buck us up and, you know, drag us across the finish line after, as you remember, a very long, hard year. And he said, the fundamental principle of legal education. So, room goes silent. Because we finally think, okay, after 8 months of this, the fog will lift, the scales will fall from our eyes, we will finally learn what the heck this has been all about. So he says, just stops the class and he says, the fundamental principle of legal education is delayed gratification. And I don't know if he's right about that or not. I mean, he wasn't teaching one of those barrel of laughs, fun-loving classes like civil procedure or evidence. Actually, he was teaching property. But if he was right, then no reason to delay anymore. Now is the time to celebrate and to have fun. You deserve it. You've made it. But at the same time, I've always wondered if he really was right. I mean, first of all, I hope you've had some fun during law school. Over the last few weeks, I've stopped a bunch of you in the hallways, or some of you have come to my office or some other places, and I've asked you to tell me some of the fun things that happened in law school, some of the fun things that you did. And all of you said the same thing, which is, oh, okay, I'll get back to you. So not one of you, and I know who you are, not one of you has gotten back to me yet. And so I take from that one of two things. Either that my property professor was right, and you can't have fun in law school, or you're just trying not to scandalize an old man. I suspect and I hope that the latter is closer to the truth, and that you have had fun while you're here. And while you may not tell those stories to me, before you leave over the next few days, tell them again to each other. Because those are the stories that will bind throughout the years this community that you have created and that you are today. Now, this community, the class of 2024, is about to undergo some big changes. And that's as it should be. One of the few things that I know, maybe the only thing I've ever tried to teach, is that all things change. For we who are lawyers, precedents will change, some will get overruled, some will get distinguished, new ones will come in, statutes will change. The very way that we and you will practice law over the next 20 years will change dramatically, all because the world is changing. So whether as a judge or as a legislator, whether as a lawyer or as the director of a nonprofit, you're going to be asked, sure, to solve some problems that we already know about and that you've been trained for. But you're also going to be asked to solve new problems and to engineer new ways to think about ideas that I can't even imagine, because the events that are going to make your solutions necessary haven't even happened yet. So here's the rub. Yeah, all things change. But if history teaches us anything, it's that while all things change, they don't automatically change for the better. In other words, there isn't necessarily progress. Your challenge, like the challenge of everyone who is in and who has ever entered this ancient and this honorable profession of law, your challenge is to push that rock of justice a little bit further up the hill, and to do it in a way that honors our traditions as lawyers while still making sure that those who you are privileged to serve, that their lives are improved. So how do you go about doing that? How do you go about making sure that the talents, that the skills, the intelligence, the education that you've received go toward that progression toward a more perfect justice? I suppose that's a question that each of you is going to have to answer for yourself. And it's okay, indeed, I think it's even necessary for true progress to occur if you don't all come to the same answer. I'd like to think that we as a faculty have given you some of the tools and the ideas and the foundation so that you can engineer solutions that are going to lead to a more just world. But don't look only to us. Look to this room. Look to your parents and your family. Look to your friends and your spouses. Ever since you were born, ever since they first met you, they have put their faith in you. They have invested their love and their hopes and their time in you. And they've done that because they believe that you can be great. So honor their love. Honor their values. Keep alive their faith in you. Keep alive my faith in you. For I couldn't do what I do if I didn't believe in your promise and your potential to make this world a more just place. But as you think about how to use your skills and your talents, also look to each other. You know, if somebody were to have asked me what the fundamental principle of legal education were, not only in law school, but I think throughout your careers and wherever it would take you, it would be self-education. We as the faculty may have asked the questions to start the conversations, but you are the ones that gave each other the answers. You're the ones that sat in the library with 3-inch thick books, reading what looked like 3-inch long words, trying to figure out, material not only for you, but so that tomorrow during that cold call, you could help other people also understand. And even those wrong answers in those cold calls, not that any of you had a wrong answer, of course, but even those wrong answers helped to build a better understanding of the law. And then after class, you talked with each other in the comments about what in the world is consideration or mens rea. You argued with each other about whether this article was worth publishing. And you debated with each other about whether this point or that point should be the first one in your brief. You had faith in the person on your left and on your right. And they had faith in you. You held each other up. You made each other sharper. You made each other better. So as a class, you have always been, and you must always be, dedicated to justice, to doing the right thing, the right way, for the right reason. As you leave this place, then, take with you Notre Dame. Take with you this community that you have created as a compass. For who better to have spent these last 3 years with than each other? For me, who better to have spent these last 3 years with than you?